I can tell you from my earliest memory, it was just larger than life to me. They're like, hey, we would like to use you in a tag with a gentleman named Francis. We want to use you on the show. We would like, to use you now as this savage gimmick. This is the first opportunity I'm getting, so I'm going to try to make the best of it. I didn't think I needed a name change, but the character kept evolving throughout the years. Only
Yeah.
one Congo, so who else can we be but ourselves? During the tournament, you just earned the last spot.
Call it how I see it, straight talk, no disguise. So the slang dripping, got the truth in my eyes. Might like gavel, every word lay it down. Coach C in the booth, turn the game all around. Yeah, it's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business. Yeah, I'm sharp as attack when I call the play-by-play. Every dog got his day, and I make the crowd stay. It's every week we go live on a Wednesday. Dressing so sharp, that's a reason why your friends stay. The youngest in the game to do it, best for business. Coach C is the truth and everybody gonna witness. Love entertainment, you swear it's your destiny. Link with Coach C, we can talk about your legacy. It's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Another episode of Best for Business. This one I'm pumped for. Kongo, thank you so much for joining me for this one.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to see your journey in pro wrestling, everything you've talked about and you've done so far. I'm excited to get to learn more about you. So when you talked pro wrestling originally, what was it about wrestling that made you even interested in it at first?
I can tell you from my earliest memory,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 4 or 5, it was just larger than life to me. I see it on the TV, and it's like who was it that said? I think it was Fallah, real life superheroes.
Yeah, that's all, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm actually seeing them on TV or VHS. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I got introduced to wrestling.
Wow. So who was like your favorites growing up?
Well, initially, my first favorite, I'm an 80s baby, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I think I watched the WrestleMania 1 VHS tape a couple hundred times.
Yeah.
So definitely him. Then as I got older, it became like Shawn Michaels, uh, Eddie Guerrero, The Rock. Stone Cold, I liked it, but I liked The Rock more because of the talking trash.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as you get older, you get you get different taste, flavor, like ice cream. So, but initially it was Hogan,
Nice.
then Shawn.
Wow. So you talk about, you see these guys larger than life superheroes. For you, what's the approach that you make originally to get involved in pro wrestling?
I was watching Monday Night Raw with a friend of mine. We were just hanging out, and a commercial came on. I can't remember what it was for, but it was like a local wrestling thing. And I looked over to my friend, and I always wanted to be a wrestler, but I never really told anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked over at my best friend. I was like, I want to be a wrestler. He goes, what? I go, yeah, I want to be a pro wrestler. He's like, you serious? I go, yeah. He goes, you do it or not? I was like, you know what? You're right. And then maybe a couple weeks went by, and we were talking again, and we also worked together. So it was a gentleman that worked with us. We didn't know. He overheard our conversation, and he was like, I don't mean to interrupt. I was like, hey, no problem. And he told me about a wrestling school in Pawtucket in Rhode Island. And I was like, oh, that's an actual thing? He's like, yeah. And then gave me Bob's name and email, and, we go from there.
Wow. So I gotta ask you, what it was like, is there a lesson or something that stands out? Everyone talks about Bob Evans, but for you personally to get to learn under him, is there like a lesson or something that still stands out from you that he's taught you?
He's taught me so much, but there's one piece of advice that I use now. It's not even pertaining to just wrestling. We did the initial, the first Ring of Honor camp. We did the first one. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of New England guys. I think it was over 15 New England guys that were at that camp.
Wow.
And my first time doing anything of this nature, and I'm a little nervous, and I'm like, and he sees me, he pulls me aside, he goes, just be you. Be you. I was like, what does that mean? It's like, how many people are here? I was like 30. He goes, okay. How many of them are you? And I was like, okay. And then it took a few minutes, but then I was like, be me. Okay, there's only one of us. There's only one Christian. There's only
Yeah.
one Congo. So who else can we be but ourselves?
Wow.
And I think that till this day, everywhere I go, it's just be you. Good, bad, indifferent. If you're gonna be you, be you. Who's gonna say anything about that?
Wow.
Like if you're just your 100% self, some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah. Wow. So you said originally Bob Evans said to be you, be Kongo. So originally, what is the inspiration? How does Kongo come along?
Okay, so I was like 6 months into training at the school, and Bob was the head trainer, and he had a couple assistant trainers, one being Chris Venom,
Love him. Yeah.
Sean, yeah, I love that guy. Another one was Dan Freitas.
Wow.
Helped me out, took me under his wing and helped me out a lot. We're not friends now, but that's a whole nother
Yeah.
podcast. Um, but apparently they were talking about putting me on EPW shows, the show that Bob ran, and they were like, what are we gonna do? And then they pulled me aside one day during training. I thought I was in trouble. They're like, can we talk to you? I was like, oh man, what did I do? What
Yeah.
did my monthly payment not go in? Did I miss a payment or something? For the school. He was like, hey, we wanna put you on one of the EPW shows coming up and see how you do. And I'm like, all right, cool. He goes, and then from there we want to use you, but we want to use you as because they've been ribbing me for months. Oh, you're just gonna be our savage. We're gonna say you're from some island just to
Okay.
rib.
Yeah.
But I'm, just teasing, honest ribbing, whatever. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. So Bob did, and they go, yeah, we want to use you on the show. We would like, to use you now as this savage gimmick, and if it doesn't work, we'll kibosh it, and you just continue to train till we'll figure something else out. And in my head, I'm like, okay, I got an opportunity. So I think of like what I'm gonna wear. I'm talking to them, and they go, we need a name. And one of the students, Owen Gratian, we were just spitballing after class one evening. And you've seen the movie Congo, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Or
It's been a
you've heard of
while.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes, why don't we just call you Congo? I was like the movie? He goes, yeah, but I was like, can I change the C to a K just to be a little different? And they were like, that works.
Wow.
And then I debuted, can't remember the year. It has to be oh 08.
Yeah.
Uh, Bob's yearly like Royal Rumble show. In Plainfield, Connecticut. And I wrestled under a hood like 2 shows before that just to see. I was Mr. X under a mask, plain black singlet.
Yeah.
But then when I debuted as the Congo character, I had my 3/4 tights and all that, and the name Congo, and then we just went from there.
Wow. I'm curious too, especially from the first match you had in '08 or '07, from all the way to your last match, you've always stayed Congo. So what do you think is so special? Is it that it's so different, you think? Because a lot of people you've seen in wrestling have changed left and right, but you've always remained Congo.
Yes, I have, and that's I think because I just said, okay, this is the first opportunity I'm getting, so I'm gonna try to make the best of it. And I just, as I was learning the the game,
Hmm.
so called, they liked what I was doing, and we just kept going from there. And I always figured we can involve the character. I don't need to change the name
Yeah.
because I was in, what was the word? I'm trying to think of the word, but yeah, I didn't. I didn't think I needed a name change, but the character kept evolving throughout the years.
Yeah.
So I thought the name was fine. Everybody seemed it's a different name, and yeah, it's just stuck with me. I never had to come up with another. I had different names I thought of, but I never had to use anything else.
Wow. And yeah, you mentioned it. You talk originally about Bob's promotion EPW. For you, is there a match throughout your time there that just sticks out to you? Because you had quite a few there.
Yeah, there was a few. One of the ones that we didn't think was gonna be because a lot of the stuff throughout the day. There was a match in Vermont, White River Junction,
Hmm.
kind of like the War Games match. Yeah, it was 4-on-4. It was me, Johnny Idol. Who was my tag team partner? Uh, was it Sean?
Maybe,
No,
yeah.
Mike Bennett, and I can't remember the fourth guy. I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah.
Anthony Pacino. No, Anthony Pacino.
Wow.
And we wrestled Dan Bob, Alex Arion,
Yeah.
and when we got to the building, we didn't realize the ceilings were low. So we had to put the cage on the ground. We had to put tarps around the ring and put the cage on the ground and fix it that even if we touched it, it can't. So we barely could touch the cage because we didn't want it to fall over and hit people, even though it was all tied to the ring or not, but there was that risk.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun, that
Nice.
match. And then another one we did where at the end all the heels come out, all the babyface come out, we do like a big old Survivor Series match.
Nice. Yeah.
And it was all called on the fly, and it was so much fun. Those are some of the matches I remember.
Yeah. And especially talk about matches calling on the fly. How did Bob Evans teach you? Was it a call it on the fly, or is it like what you see nowadays?
Um, at training, I love this drill. It's called Pit of Death,
Okay.
and everybody gets in a corner, and two people start out, and
Hmm.
then a heel baby face, whoever's doing what, at any point of the time, you can go tag somebody, and you can tell them, "Oh, now you are the heel baby face, and you're gonna continue from wherever we're at." And we do that nonstop for a good 45 minutes to an hour. And
Hmm.
then little by little, people just start getting pinned or eliminated. But again, everyone was involved and you couldn't call nothing on in the beginning. It was right there in the middle of the ring.
Hmm.
So we did that a lot. And then we just one time it was like, let's just do it in the ring. And I was a little nervous, but I was like, we've done Pit of Death so many times. And he said it's just like Pit of Death with an audience.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I enjoyed it.
Nice.
It's not the easiest thing to do, but if you practice it, it can be fun.
Yeah. Wow. And then especially early on in your career for you, how was the opportunity to get to wrestle Jerry Lawler?
Bob,
Wow.
again, it was a 3 day weekend kind of thing he ran. I think the first night he wrestled Tom Kane. Second night was our friend Slash, Rich Sullivan.
Hmm.
And then the last night, or the afternoon, he was like, I need another heel, another big guy. And he was like, you're gonna do it. And I was like, I was literally a year in to
Wow.
wrestling. And I'm like, huh? He said, yeah, you're gonna wrestle Lola. So yeah. I was like, okay. And I was just like, for a couple months, like, oh my God, I'm gonna wrestle Jerry Lawler. So okay. And then I wrestled him and it was fine. I mean, he called everything. I just had to be closed mouth, open ears.
Yeah. Wow. And when you talk opportunities, is it through Bob or how do you originally go to Chaotic Wrestling? Because at the time, especially, you had to be like chaotic homegrown talent to even go there.
That was interesting. They contacted me
Wow.
through, was it email? But they contacted me. I can't remember how.
Yeah.
And before I got the opportunity to tag with my boy Fallah, I did a one-off, which I think was a test. I wrestled 16-year-old Ilya Markopoulos,
Yeah.
and I think it was in Lawrence, Massachusetts, or something like that. And I think because Chaotic or most of the guys in Chaotic knew Fallah from NWA on Fire.
Hmm.
So I think they were like, well, like, there's another similar guy around here that does similar gimmick. Let's see if he's any good. And so I think the test was to see if I can take care of their young guy,
Yeah.
their new guy, Ilya Markopoulos. And we had a simple, I think it was maybe 8 to 10 minute match.
Okay.
And I took care of him. And I think I don't know, but I think he told him like, yeah, he took care of me. Nothing was treating me well. And then from there, they're like, hey, we would like to use you in a tag with a gentleman named Francis from New Jersey, blah, and kind of does the same gimmick. And I was like, cool, yeah, absolutely, I'm for it.
Yeah.
And then maybe a month or two went by, and then we finally debuted together. And same thing like he said. When we first meet people, especially me, I'm a little standoffish, but not. But once I get to know you, you get to know me. I change, or I'm more friendly than what I come. I'm not mean, but I'm very. A lot of people don't. When they first meet me, they're like, "Oh, you're kind of quiet. You're not really quiet." I go, "No, I'm not quiet around people that I know. If I first met you, you're not gonna really know who I am."
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I think it happened. And I think that's why I had to wrestle Ilya first to see. They're like, yo, he took care of you, yeah. And then up to the races we went.
Wow. Is there chaotic matches or memories that stand out for you?
The debut, because I don't think anybody expected us, and they didn't know who we were.
Hmm.
And we literally just came in, beat up the Logans, and the place was like, who the hell are these guys? They were upset at us, and we walk in, we Gorman, and we just do our thing, and then we wrestled the Logans, and then our first Cold Fury was like a triple threat match.
Yeah. Logan's and
Yeah,
Chase
and
and Julian.
yes,
Wow.
and then it was so much fun. But wrestling the Logans was like always a fun time, easy but challenging at the same time because I've never done tag team wrestling until that, so I had to up my game and learn, and they helped me out a lot.
Yeah. How was it originally becoming a tag team wrestler? Because like in pro wrestling, majority of people don't want to be it. So you originally do everything as singles, then come in with Fallah originally as a team. How are you adapting to it originally?
I was all for it because again, this was my way to get into chaotic.
Hmm.
So I was like, yeah, I'm all for it. And I'm sure, same thing with Fowler. He's like, yeah, I'm all for it. And we met each other. We had a lot of similarities, both from, he's in New Jersey, I'm New York. And so there's a lot of similarities there. And we just hit it off. And then again, we're wrestling guys like the Logans,
Yeah.
who are awesome and pretty chill guys. So it was like, it made the whole me, especially because I never tag wrestled. Fala did, so he helped me out a lot, and the Logans too, and they taught me like it's just like a regular match, but there's just more players in it. So you gotta put these person here, there, then when. So just had to learn that aspect of it, but it was fun. It
Right.
wasn't like, oh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
It was like, cool, I have an opportunity to come into this new promotion and see what happens.
Yeah. For you especially, you're killing it early on in your career, but what would you consider your first big opportunity when it comes to wrestling?
First big opportunity. I want to say opening up in the Manhattan Center Hammerstein Ballroom for Ring of Honor
Yeah.
because I grew up watching wrestling in those. I've been to those venues, but I've also seen it so much on TV. So it was like I'm my home state, New York, and I'm wrestling in two historic places, which is technically the same place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But just
Yeah.
one's upstairs, one's downstairs. So, but wrestling there, and I'm like, and it opportunity. Yeah, it was just I was gonna be there, and it was just right time, right kind of moment thing too.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for that. But yeah, I mean, everything's an opportunity, but I think that's from one of my earliest memories. The biggest opportunity was those 2 nights or
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. So how you mentioned originally you're going to these ROH camps. How does the opportunity originally to wrestle for Ring of Honor come about?
The first time was that I was gonna wrestle this was it Sunday night? Can't remember the day. I think it was Sunday afternoon, excuse me.
Okay.
I was gonna wrestle Will in the Manhattan Center for the Sunday show. We're gonna do the dark match, and I was like, cool. I was gonna be there anyway for Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and then something happened with two other wrestlers that was supposed to. One of them was supposed to open the show that night, but something happened, altercation. He wasn't there. Couldn't. They didn't want him there. So I get a call. Oh, you're gonna be here today? I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way now. I'm traveling with Bob. And they're like, okay, do you have your gear bag? I didn't have my gear bag with me.
Okay.
It was in New York because I had a prior trip and I left my gear bag at my brother's house because he still lived in New York at the time. So I was thinking, travel Saturday, watch the show, spend the night there, just get up Sunday morning, go back to the venue.
Yeah.
So I'm in Connecticut or something with Bob, and I had to call my brothers, like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just hanging out. I go, I need a huge favor. I need you to bring my gear bag to the Hammerstein Ballroom. He's like, excuse me? I said, you know my wrestling bag that I left the suitcase? He's like, yeah. I was like, I need you to bring it down to the Hammerstein Ballroom. He goes, are you serious? I go, yeah, I should be there by 2:30, I said, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you sure? I'm like, yes. I have an opportunity. I need to have my gear. He's like, okay. So I get there, and then like maybe 20 minutes later, he calls me. I'm outside. So I go outside, grab my gear bag.
Nice.
And he's like, oh, I tried to get a ticket, but they're sold out. I was like, yeah, you got tomorrow? He's like, oh, we already got tickets for tomorrow. I was like, cool. So he's like, what's happening? I was like, I'll tell you when I see you tonight at home.
Wow.
And then, so yeah, if it wasn't for him, I was already on my way, but for some reason, the week prior, I was in North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and I traveled from Carolina to New York for a few days to see my family.
Yeah.
And I knew I was coming the next weekend, so I was like, I'll just leave my gear bag here. Everything's washed, and so just I'll leave it here. They're like, cool. If I didn't do that, and just like, who knows? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. Now you debut as a Supercard of Honor?
yeah.
That's
The
insane.
the yeah the Saturday night I wrestled Corey Hollis
Wow.
from
A-
the.
And then, like later on too, especially, I just interviewed him. It's dropping this week. You were in a four-corner survival match. It was you, Fury, Handsome at the time. Who was it? Taven? No, Vincent was the fourth. No,
Fury,
Handsome.
Hanson, Vinny, and myself.
Yeah. Do you have anything that sticks out from that? Like that must be cool in itself. Like having like those New England guys in there just alone.
Oh, it was cool. It was at the Providence Civic Center
I
over
was there at
here.
12 years old.
We knew maybe a week before that or something like that. We all got email or whatever. I'll be here, and then they told us it's a 4-way. So it was everyone involved was trying to make sure everyone else looked good, as good as we all, like, Fury made sure I looked good. I made sure, like, we all wanted everybody to look great
Yeah.
for the match, and I think we did well.
Yeah.
I really think we did well.
Yeah. And when you talk, especially pro wrestling at the time, for you, how does being a part of the 2014 Top Prospect tournament happen? Because in pro wrestling, that was like one of the tournaments.
It was.
Yeah.
So this was So I want to say there was a camp before that, and I was invited to this camp. Just and at this camp was Moose, and he's maybe a year in or a year and a half, he said, and he's doing really well. And then at the camp, both days they have towards the end of the day they have the people that are doing the camp wrestle each other.
Hmm.
So they asked me, "Would you like to wrestle?" I was like, "You need me to wrestle?" They're like, "Yes. We'd like to see you wrestle Moose. See what you can get out of him, and you know." So I said, "Okay."
First time ever
So
meeting him?
yes,
Okay.
that weekend, first time we met,
Okay.
cool guy too,
Yeah.
real cool guy. So and they go, "You're the last match of the day camp, the camp, the main event for the first day of the camp." We're like, "Okay." So I've done it a few times, so I always get a little nervous, but he's more like pacing back and forth. I'm like, "Oh, what do you?" So I just go talk to him. "What do you do? I've seen you do stuff throughout the day, but I want to know more." And he starts showing me stuff, and I was like, "Okay." And then we come up with a match, and everybody was jumping and cheering. They got into it. We had a couple of the coaches jumping on the apron, like they got up off the ground and were jumping on the apron while we were wrestling.
Yeah.
Then we did so well that day, they wanted to see it again the next day. So this time we kind of do something different, but it's still the same like concept, two big guys wrestling, but it's a little different than the
Yeah.
first day. So I do that, and then Delirious Hunter, whatever you want to call him at the time, pulls me aside and goes, "You're in the tournament. You just earned the last spot." I was like, "Oh shit, sweet." And yeah, that's how I got it.
Wow. And then how was the match? Was it against Roe, was it?
Yes, the
Okay.
first round match was against Ro.
Nice.
And that was fun. I also realized he's a strong man.
Yeah.
Because he's like, "I'm just gonna pick you up, jamming you." And I'm a lot bigger than I was now. And I'm like, "You sure?" He goes, "I got you." I go, "I'll jump." He goes, "No, no, no." And he just scoops me up, and I'm like, "Oh wow, like this
Wow.
man is strong."
Yeah. Es- Especially during that time, one of the best minds started doing stuff for Ring of Honor. Do you have any stories wrestling QT Marshall?
Well, we didn't wrestle in Ring of Honor
Yeah,
per
but he was
se.
starting to
We
go to Ring of
met.
Honor that time. Yeah.
Yeah, we met there. We had a lot of matches at the Monster Factory.
Okay.
Um, he was always someone I like working with. He knew what he can do, and he knew how to bring out the best out of other people. So when we wrestled, it was always fun. Matches made sense, and I feel like yeah, we both brought it because we knew that I can go, he can go. So it was always fun.
Yeah. And especially in wrestling, I was mind blown. I think when you made a post not too long ago, are you related to Nick Westgate?
Not related.
Okay.
That's I call him my big little brother because
Okay.
he's all stocky, he's a power lifter. So, but I met Nick when I started training at Bob's in
Oh,
'07. So
mhm.
I've known him since that time, and we best of friends.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the best man in his wedding. So yeah,
Nice. And especially talking companies that have been taken over. You did Chaotic at the time, you're doing Ring of Honor, another company that was thriving at the time. How does Top Row Promotions happen?
Top rope. Who contacted me? I want to say it was I think it was Teddy.
Okay.
On Teddy or Drew, one of them contacted me to wrestle Frankie Vane, I think it was my
Wow.
first one.
Yeah.
And it was like it was in a show in New Bedford. Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, we'd like to use you," and I was like, "Sure, absolutely." I've I've known many people that work for Top Rope, and I know many of the guys from working other places like Webb, Teddy. there was a couple Nick, because Nick used to do a lot of Bob shows. I met
Yeah.
Drew at Bob shows. So I know a lot of the guys, but they never really worked in, and they brought the opportunity to come work Frankie Vane one time. Ended up working one time with Frankie, but yeah, I think that was my first time in top rope. I wrestled Frankie Vane, I want to say.
Hmm. You mentioned his name. Is there like one or two like Nick Steele stories that stand out to you?
There's a lot, but
Yeah.
stories. I just remember after those PAL shows, we would go across the street to get food or feud road sodas, as they call them.
Okay.
And Nick would be walking around just big old smile, headbutting people, headbutting, just randomly headbutting us.
Yeah.
And if he didn't do that, he didn't like you. So I would get headbutted and they'd be like, oh, you're in. And I'd be like, what? You just headbutted me. Like, no, that means you're in. You're one of us. I was
Wow.
like, oh, cool. And just, yeah, him headbutting me. Um, what's another one? We went to one night, we ended up going out just after the show, and we were just hanging out and just being, big grown kids
Yeah.
just hanging out doing dumb stuff, but it was fun,
Yeah.
innocent fun. So yeah,
Nice.
you know.
You talk about earlier when you left your bag. I think you had a show in like North Carolina. So for you, how does AML wrestling happen? Because AML is another company, especially in North Carolina. They are thriving still.
Oh yeah, they are. Me leaving my bag, that happened in Canada.
Oh, okay, okay.
I left it. We did a seminar. Well, Bob did a seminar. I just helped out. And I always bring my gear bag, just to change if I got to train or help. But for whatever reason, I didn't take nothing on my bag, so I put it to the side. And we had to drive back to Seattle, Washington, for a show we were doing later on in the evening. So we bolted out, and we get past the border, whatever, pop the trunk. Bob's like, just grab my bag and I'm gonna park. I was like, okay. Pop the trunk, and I look and I'm like, my bag's not in here. He's like, it's in the back seat. I go, no. He's like, my bag's there. I was like, yeah. He goes, where's yours? I go, I think I left it. And he's like, I gotta find parking. I was like, okay. So I'm walking in and I'm running tracing my steps, and I'm like, and I realized, like, holy crap, I did leave it because I remember exactly where I put it. And that was a whole nother thing. I had to get up super early the next morning, drive to Canada. Then we got detained a little because they're like, what are you coming to Canada for? I left my bag at the gym and I gotta come back together, and they're like, so they pulled me aside, and we gotta check everything and contact whoever I gotta contact. Is there really a bag? Yeah, yeah. But yeah, and then North Carolina came about because Bob was doing the seminars. He started doing the seminars,
Mhm.
and he was doing a seminar not for AML at the time, somewhere else, but he was booked after at AML, and they asked him, "Can you bring some other guys?" And he was like, "Would you like to come?" And I was like, "Heck yeah!" And that's how I got to wrestle Shane Williams and all that, and it was a good time. Tracy and Brian are great guys, the guys that run the promotion, like real nice guys. I can't thank them enough because it was such a fun time. And again, everybody in that locker room and who works there, they're great people.
Yeah. You mentioned wrestling in Canada. Is there anything that stood out, whether it was the crowd or just the wrestling atmosphere in general for you? Do you remember?
Every time I've been to Canada, or if we've been to Canada,
Yeah.
they treat the events like, yeah, it's an event, but they treat it like they get dressed up real nice, and it's like a whole thing. It's not. I'm trying to find the right word for it, but first time we went, it was people in suits in the audience just watching. We're like, what's, they come in the suits to watch wrestling? Like, and there's waitresses walking through the crowd. I'm like, I've never seen nothing like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they treat it like Like if they're going to some like I don't want to say like a fancy restaurant or something, but it's kind of like upscale.
Wow.
Like people really getting their Sundays best. I've seen and which is cool because then I'm like, well, they're dressed to the nines. I got to give them a good show. So
Hmm. What were
you
these
know,
venues like wrestling at? Like, were they like VFW halls or no? Like for them to dress up
no,
at?
I one time we wrestled in a discotheque
Wow.
in Montreal. It had two levels. We had to get the ring out like after the show ended. I mean, every wrestler crew person was at the ring taking it down, so they had because we were able to still change, but they needed the club open by I want to say 10:30.
Hmm.
So we finished the show a little bit before, and we all just started breaking on the ring and helping them take it out so we can get them to open up the discotheque. But that was fun because it was a two-level place, and that I wrestled in the ice rink in Canada. That was fun. Uh, also, what was the RV? I wrestled in the RV park, but in their this RV park was like one of the fanciest RV parks I've ever seen.
Okay.
Had their own concert hall kind of thing,
Wow.
and we wrestled in there, and that was I want to say almost 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was some of the venues in it. Oh, Harley Davidson dealership I
Hmm.
wrestled inside of, which was I've been in I've been in motorcycle dealerships, but this one had two levels, and on the second level there was a barber shop, a tattoo parlor, and what was I can't remember the third place, but that was all involved with the Harley Davidson thing, and I was like, this is it was cool. It was one of the coolest places I've been in.
Is there like a favorite venue that stands out in general? Because like those are nuts, but also you said like Hammerstein. So what else sticks out for you?
Those two, Hammerstein Ballroom, Manhattan Center, the one in Nashville was a concert hall. I can't remember the name of it right now. I
Mhm.
wrestled Moose there. We did a TV taping there. That one. I've wrestled inside a Mexican restaurant. That's always
Wow.
fun. Um, trying to think. Fun venue. Hammerstein Manhattan Center. The Warwick Civic Center was cool. The Providence Civic Center. But yeah, the two most memorable ones has to be Hammerstein and Manhattan Center.
Yeah. And then when you talk about love and pro wrestling, we talk about wrestling Jerry Lawler, but for you, how was it wrestling Gangrel and Vader later on?
That was that was fun and interesting. Like it
Okay.
was a weird day because Gangrel's cool. Vader was a sweetheart, but Vader was an older gentleman at the time, a lot older, and we knew he had some limitations, and we knew that. But he just started doing stuff in the ring, and we just had to adapt to what he was doing. He was doing stuff on his own. Like we were like, oh, okay, we gotta. This is what he wants to do. We gotta do this. We can't, And then, but yeah, it was fun. It's a story that we all have, and I can't. I'm not upset about it or anything. It was just one of those things like he's gonna do what he wants and we gotta adapt to it because I think he was I don't know, I think he was in the 60s at the time. And all I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
It's Vader. I can't
You're
I
not gonna
can't
tell
yell
him
at
no.
yeah, I can't yell at him. What are you doing? It's like, okay, this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
I gotta, adapt. So
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Congo match of your career so far? If someone was to ask you like for a Congo match, is there one or two that you'd point to?
hmm, that's a good question. Um Two. One is when I wrestled Aldo Rose because it wasn't. I was nervous, but I remember him coming up to me during the day when he just arrived. He goes, "Oh, I'm wrestling you tonight." I go, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Okay." I haven't wrestled a match in like 4 years. I'm like, "What are you talking about? I see you on TV all the time." He's like, "No, no, no. I mean, like actual wrestle match, like a
Yeah.
wrestling match. I was like, okay. He goes, so I want to effing go. I was like, okay, well, go. He goes, you got me. I was like, I got you. And we had a fun match. What's another one? In Canada, I wrestled Marcos Estrada, and we were right before intermission
Hmm.
because on the show, Paul London was on the show. He was main eventing with um, our friend Marcus, and I remember Estrada's really talented man, and he was like, "Yeah, let's just go have fun." And we had one of the best matches I think in Canada I had.
Wow. Yeah.
And I remember a couple of the guys coming back to us like, "Y'all should have been the main event." I was like, "Oh, thank you. That's really nice of you guys." But yeah, that's one. And then just me wrestling Nick in his final, my friend Nick Westgate in his final match because it was like at the in Westerly, the Armory in Westerly. That's where I had my first match like as Kongo, and
Yeah.
that's where he had his last match as himself. So it was, and he wrestled in my first match, and then I get to wrestle in his last match. So it was kind of like,
Full
but
circle.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Wow. When you look at your career, who brought the best out of Kongo in the ring, you'd say?
Hmm. Both Nicks, Nick Westgate, Nick Steele,
Yeah.
Bob, and let me see, Bob, Nick, and I think Nico was somebody I like to wrestle. He was always fun, so I
Yeah.
would say him. Just right now, yeah, those guys are not because Nico always wanted to up it. I don't mean up it, but just like make sure we do something a little bit better than we did last time, you know.
Wow.
So
Yeah. I gotta ask you now, how are you feeling? Because I remember being there for your last match as an hour against Jorah. I remember the whole second half of the show you sat with me, and then everything went down. So nowadays, how are you feeling with everything?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain. I'm alive, you
Yeah,
know. I could
absolutely.
have died. I could have died. But yeah, I remember speaking to you for the second half of the show, and yeah, I mean, just doing physical therapy when I can, doing my exercises at home, living my life. I can't do nothing else
Yeah.
because if I just stop living, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
So I got to keep moving forward. So go to work every day
Nice. Yeah.
like everybody else, pay my bills.
Yeah.
Just trying to find like how I can be still involved in wrestling, but I gotta get myself back to the shows as well. That's another thing I
Hmm.
would like to start doing again because I get text messages all the time. We're gonna see you this weekend. We're nearby, and I'm like, I'll do my best to be there and all that. Because the last live event in Seacon, was Somerset
Yeah.
Seacon?
Seekonk. Yeah.
Okay, that was the night of the storm starting.
Yep.
So I had to, I had to make sure I had all my stuff ready because again, I I can't really I can shovel snow, but not the best of them because the arm is still
Yeah.
messed up. So I had to make sure I had all my ducks aligned. So I couldn't go. That was one I was trying to go to for sure because it's right there.
Hmm.
But yeah, just get to more shows. Even like I said, every top rope, a couple of the guys hit me up. Well, we're doing this show. I'm like, I know. I've been to a few, but it's more like on a whim. Like Bob hit me up. I'm going to Jersey. You want to come? I'm like, I'm free this weekend. Yeah, and
Nice.
I'll go to Jersey. So,
Wow.
but yeah, no, just living my life, and I got movement in my arm and my hand, but it's not 100%. But it's better than the last time I saw anybody. So
Hmm. Now I gotta ask you, if you ever get to 100%, wrestling retirements don't really exist. Will there ever be another Kongo match, you think?
if that happens, of course there'll be another match
Nice.
because it's not. Because I talk to Bob and Nick about this all the time because they always ask me, "You'll wrestle again if you could." Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, I would. Like I didn't get to stop wrestling on my accord. You get
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yes, if I was able to get 100% better, and the arm and my ankle was, they're like, yeah, you're good to go, you're cleared. I'm definitely having like one or two more matches,
Nice.
for sure.
Nice. Well, Kongo, I can't thank you enough for joining me. However, every episode I've done has ended the same. Now, the day you decide it's all done in wrestling, which obviously isn't happening anytime soon, but the day you decide it's all done, what do you want Kongo's legacy in pro wrestling to be?
That's a that's a question that I get asked that a lot from Nick and Bob and a couple of, even my brothers.
Yeah.
Um, I just my legacy is like whenever my name is brought up or I'm talked about, that they either laugh because they think, oh, it's hilarious, or it was always a fun time. Um, easy night, we call it in wrestling. Like,
Mhm.
oh, you're wrestling so and so, easy night.
Yeah.
You'll have a good match. You guys will do fine. That, like, oh, that's a night off.
Hmm.
And then just being someone that you want around, you
Nice.
know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, Kongo, I can't thank you enough. I remember first helping out with Teddy shows. It was an absolute honor being on the same show with you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for doing this, man.
nah, I appreciate you being like so such a, because again, when you meet the fans, some of them always, they're cool, but like you're a really cool kid, always respectful, helpful, always willing to help out however you can. Also, it's crazy to me because when I was a youngster, I would come visit my aunt that lived here in Providence when I lived in New York. And when I would be watching TV, I would see Danger Boy
Hmm.
and your dad
Yeah.
on the public access, and I'd be like, "Where's this at?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, that's down the road over here in such and such." I was like, "Oh, interesting," and it never failed.
Wow.
I would always see Danger Boy and your dad, whoo,
Yeah.
mooing somewhere on public access, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's cool. I gotta go see them one day." And I finally met them.
Yeah.
So and then met you right after. So
Yeah, and it's crazy too. Like I said, when Ring of Honor was coming to the Civic Center, we were going to like 12 years old. So full circle moment, getting to watch you and then work with you. So seriously, thank you for everything.
appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing this. And thank everybody for watching this episode. This was Best for Business.
Thank you for watching this episode of Best for Business. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, because this is Best for Business.